There could be a big change in store for Detroit's Cultural Center near the Detroit Institute of Arts and the main branch of the Detroit Library. On Monday, the DIA and the organization Midtown Detroit selected a design team from France, Agence Terre, along with several local partners, to create a new Detroit Square. The plan encompasses 10 blocks across 83 acres in the area of the city's 12 cultural institutions. Their draft plans are bold and include suggestions from a survey of more than 1,000 residents, including the fascinating piece of information that many people didn't seem to know that we had a cultural district.
Who knew? There would be large green spaces that connect the 12 attractions in the area. It would include new paths, cafes, art installations, a DJ booth, and amenities to support artists like performance spaces. On the tech side, there's a big focus on adding Wi-Fi and 5G cellular connectivity throughout the square.
Also interesting, changes to make Woodward out front of the DIA easier for closure for festivals and events. That's something that happens very rarely right now, and not even Noel Night closes Woodward Avenue anymore. To be clear, this is a draft plan, and the final version would come together in about a year and a half. We'll have renderings and all that up on Daily Detroit, but Sven, this one's so bold, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, clearly they are embracing the whole concept of transit-oriented design, which is kind of a wonky term for, increasing pedestrian opportunities and access to transit and things like that, making things more human-scaled, less car-centric and everything. Closing Woodward obviously is a big component of that, which they say they would do during special events. And you mentioned Noel Night. I have wonderfully fond memories of Noel Nights.
It's a great event.
Hanging out on Woodward Avenue when it's closed to traffic during that event, and there's vendors selling hot cocoa, and there's choral groups and performance bands playing music. I mean, it really opens your eyes to what could be in the city, not just because there's tons of people out on foot walking around in a city that is, designed around the car.
I'm looking at this and I really like it. I will say, for Detroit in general, it's really kind of out there. Like, you take what's happened with Campus Martius Park and all of that and kind of turn the dial to 11. Mm-hmm. And that's what you've got here, because this is just so much bigger in scale.
Yep.
But I think with the success that has had, I could see a lot of success with this. I mean, it's been shown when you build places that people want to hang out in, people come.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're, to be clear, we mentioned the 12 cultural institutions. So we're talking about the DIA, the main branch of the public library, obviously the Detroit Historical Museum, the Charles H. Wright African American Museum,
the Science Center,
the University of Michigan, what used to be called the Rackham Center there.
That building's so cool, man. I love that building.
The Center for Creative, or College for Creative Studies, as I think it's called now, right? And these would all be linked by pedestrian pathways, kind of like a winding pedestrian pathway, which I think is a really cool idea. And it's kind of amazing that that hasn't been done yet. Lots of, landscaping, stormwater management practices. So it's very, I feel like it's very of this era and reflecting some of the concerns of the era, not simply just, transit-oriented design, but also, climate change and mitigating some of those risks.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this one comes together.